So, at the beginning of this film, we are shown a man named Marco who has come to meet a Russian gangster. As soon as he arrives, he gives a bag full of money to the man and asks him, "Where's my stuff?" This gangster gives him the keys to a car and tells him that her luggage is in the trunk of the car. Marco picks up the keys and leaves. Before leaving, he burns the entire warehouse where he had come to meet the gangster. He finds a suitcase in the trunk of the car. After picking it up, the scene cuts, and now we see the main character of the movie, Ethan, with his wife. He has just learned today that his wife is pregnant, and he is very happy to hear this. It was Christmas as well. Both of them worked at the airport, so they leave for work together. Because of Christmas, there was going to be a lot of rush at the airport today. Ethan was in the security sector, so they were briefed first on how to handle everything today. After that, Ethan goes and talks to his boss, saying, "Now I want a promotion. I don't want to check people at boarding. I want the job of scanning luggage." The boss was refusing him because it was not right to make any changes on that day, but his friend Jason helps him. And after asking the boss, he changes his duty. Ethan finally gets the job of scanning the bag. Now, the scene cuts, and we are shown an army outside the airport, where a guy named Riley has kidnapped a man, and he is here. In just a few minutes, he hacks all the cameras at the airport. It is also seen that this same man has sent someone to Ethan's friend Jason's house to kidnap his family. Now, when he sees the CCTV camera footage of the original airport on his mobile, he is shocked because now, instead of Jason, Ethan is sitting there, someone he does not know. It was clearly visible that these people were criminals and were going to commit criminal activity. To execute their purpose, they had earlier kidnapped Jason's family to blackmail him. Now, instead of that, they had to find out about Ethan's family. This hacker extracts all biodata of Ethan in a few minutes. He finds out that there is no one in Ethan's family except his wife. That is why he sends his men to search Ethan's house. From a report present there, they come to know that Ethan's wife is pregnant. And now they are using this as Ethan's weakness.
Meanwhile, at the airport, someone brings Ethan's luggage to him. Seeing this luggage, he says, "It is not mine." But then, a message comes on his mobile in which it is written, "Put these earphones in your ears." He is surprised, but he picks up the earphones and puts them in his ears. As soon as he puts the earbuds in his ears, the man starts talking to Ethan and says to him, "If you love your life, and your wife's life, then do as I say." Ethan was not able to understand his words, so the man said, "You don't have to do much. After a little while, one of my men, wearing a red cap, will bring you a suitcase. Just after scanning it, you have to quietly pass it forward, without saying anything. If you do this, then consider that your and your wife's life is saved." He doesn't act cunningly. That is why the man assures him that he is keeping a close eye on Ethan. He also knows where Ethan's wife is at this time, because all this research was done by Riley and given to him. After hearing all this, Ethan gets a little scared and puts the phone under the desk and calls the police. But these people had their eyes completely on Ethan. They see him and tell Ethan to disconnect the call and not tell anything to the police, or else something bad will happen. Believe it or not, but at this time one of my men has pointed a rifle at your wife's head. Your single mistake will take her life. While that man was talking to Ethan, the police had also received the call, but Ethan did not tell anything to the police and disconnected the call. After doing this, the man understood that Ethan was going to follow his instructions. He asks Ethan to get his mobile locked in the locker. Ethan asks, "Are you a terrorist?" The man replies, "No, I am not a terrorist. Someone has asked me to do a job." Ethan asked him this question after a lot of thought. Finally, he asked, "What was in the suitcase?" The man replied, "There was no need for you to know, and even if you found out, you should keep your mouth shut. If the suitcase did not reach the plane or someone opened it, then you and your wife are killed." Ethan tells him, "I am sitting here now. If Jason was here, what would you people have done?" Jason would also have been ready to do this work, because we have kidnapped Jason's family too. It means these people are planning the whole thing. Ethan tries to show his smartness for the second time and writes a message on the smartwatch he has with him. This was also noticed by Riley, who was sitting outside the airport in the van and had hacked the CCTV cameras. He tells the man who was talking to Ethan, "Ethan, you are making mistakes again and again. I will not give you so many chances. Go and keep the smartwatch in the locker and come back." Ethan follows his advice and understands that he is doing something while sitting here. Now, the scene cuts, and we see a police officer, Elena, who has gone to the place where Marco met the Russian gangster. After that, he destroyed that place. While investigating, she found a watch near the Russian gangster's dead body. Elena checks the watch and finds a recording chip inside it. The chip was burnt, but still, she gives it to the forensic department and asks them for the data of this chip. These people were able to retrieve the data, but now they were unable to listen to the audio, as the quality of the audio had deteriorated due to burning. Now we see Ethan again, and the man talking to him says, "My man is going to come in a short while. Till he comes, we both will talk." Ethan, by following the sounds of the people around him, finds him around the kit ear pod. He guesses that this man is not looking at him. Taking advantage of the situation, he gets up quickly, gives the boarding pass to the man in front of him, writes something with an invisible pen on the boarding pass, and gives it to the police. But he did not know that he was being monitored through CCTV. Riley saw all this and told that man. The police also came to know about the whole matter. Before this, his entire department knew about all this. That man got up and collided with that policeman. He collided as per some plan. While colliding, he injected something into that policeman, which caused his instant death. When Ethan came back to his chair, he saw that the man was not there in his place. He looked around quickly, and finally, he saw the man in the crowd before the crowd gathered around the police. He takes the boarding pass from the policeman and goes away from there. After seeing his face, we come to know that this man is none other than Marco, who had killed the Russian gangster at the beginning of the movie. Ethan also came and sat beside Marco. Marco read everything from the boarding pass that Ethan had written. After that, he says to Ethan, "I see that. You are making mistakes again and again, but this is the last chance. I have forgiven you considering it to be your last mistake, but if you commit any mistake again, I will get your wife killed. And don't take it a threat, I will really do it. Now go quietly, sit on your scanner, and do my work." As soon as Ethan goes back towards the scanner, he sees that Jason has sat in place of Ethan. Because a policeman had suddenly died here, due to which there was chaos here, and the security was tightened further. That's why the boss put Jason back in his place. As soon as Marco came to know about this, he told Ethan to do whatever he wanted, but make Jason get up from there and sit yourself. Earlier he told this to the boss, but now the boss explained to him that the security situation is very different from before. I cannot remove Jason from the scanner. Realizing the sensitivity of the matter, he took a coffee and mixed alcohol in it. After which he brought the coffee and placed it on Jason's table, and complained about this to the boss. As soon as the boss saw the alcohol coffee on Jason's table, he was immediately fired from the job, although Jason was pleading that the coffee was not his. Now the scene cuts to a police officer who, after listening to the recording again and again, is trying to know about the poison. That this poison was so dangerous that wherever it fell, everything in the surrounding environment got destroyed. Here, the airport scene is shown, where Ethan had taken his seat again after trapping Jason. And now the time had come, when Marco's man came with the backpack for scanning. On Marco's instructions, Ethan scanned it, and Ethan came to know that there is a very dangerous weapon inside it. He did not have much knowledge about what this weapon can do, but he understood that this weapon could definitely destroy the entire plane. It was found that the same poison was inside this plane, about which Elena was doing research a while back. Ethan's condition became so bad due to tension that he started vomiting. Marco came to the washroom to see him, and he threatened him that there is no need to be smart or else you will be killed. Ethan stops him from behind and says that there are 2,000 people in the plane in which you are carrying that weapon. That man replied, "If he doesn't go in the plane, He will be blasted here and there are 60,000 people here. You have to decide whether you want to save 2,000 people or 60,000. Ethan got worried and he asked, "Why are you trying to kill people?" Marco replied, "I'm not trying to kill anyone. I'm just doing my duty and let me do that." The scene shifts back to Elena when one of her colleagues tells her that a man named Ethan had just called the police from the airport. The police even received the call, but then Ethan didn't say anything. After some time, a police officer suddenly died there, which means that something is definitely wrong there. It would take some time for Elena to reach the airport, so she first sent another force there and they went and closed all the checking lines. Due to the checking lines being closed, Ethan's boss also gathered everyone, and all the suspected people started getting checked. Ethan now used his brain and quickly took his boss's scanner and entered Marco's man's name in it. He has checked his bag properly. After doing this, he came out and when Marco came out, he saw that the police officers were taking his man to another room. He asked Ethan what was happening, but instead of giving any answer, Ethan said, "I am sorry, now I cannot support you." And he threw the airport out of his ears, and immediately went to his wife. He wanted to save his wife. But then he saw that there was a laser on his wife's head, which meant that someone was pointing a gun at her, and he knew that if he does anything wrong, then his wife will be killed. Quietly, he came inside the bathroom again. He was panicked, and now Marco also followed him. Marco started hitting him. To save himself, he also took out his electric gun. He pointed at Marco, and Marco said that you are not improving. You have made many mistakes, and you will see the consequences yourself. Saying this, he activated the bomb which was in that bag, and said that earlier only